What is good? This is Ahead of the Spread, Wager Talks live late show, where we talk about open numbers for tomorrow's NBA games, notable line movements, and discuss key matchups and angles for the next day. So you have an early edge for the games tomorrow. I'm Ronald Cabang, one of the hosts here, obviously, and then we got Skee Profit, the co-host, in the building here as well. Before we head into the games and talk about, man, we got a 9-game slate tomorrow. I know we're probably not going to touch all of them, but we'll try to get through as much as we can. If you guys are in the chats, make sure you guys drop your questions, you drop your top plays. Definitely do that, and if we see them, we'll try to get to them. But yeah, man, make sure you guys check out our wager talk pages. I'll have that banner scrolling in the bottom real soon here. But Ski, how was your day today? Did you touch on anything in the NBA or college basketball, maybe?
I'm
I
muted.
think you're.
There we go.
There you go.
But
You did it again, dude.
um, now I wish I took that play that we both liked, that Orlando Magic game under.
Yeah,
When we both like something on these shows, I should just really hop on it. But nothing in the NBA for me yesterday. College though, I did have St. Bonnie's and George Mason over 126. I think they landed on 137. So that was a win, and we'll try to keep it going.
got you. Yeah, dude. Like I told you we were gonna bounce back. You go 1-0 today. I went 3-0. So I've actually swept two straight days. 4-0 yesterday, and then 3-0 today. So hopefully we
Good work.
continue going. I did end up taking that under that we talked about in the NBA, and then we did. Then I went 2-0 in college basketball. So like I said, man, when we get these lows, like these small like losing streaks, we bounce back even stronger. So today was the last day for that BOGO. If you guys grabbed it, man, good for you. Perfect timing. But we'll see what kind of deals we have going on after this one. But let's get into the slate for tomorrow. Like I said, 9-game slate. We'll see if we can get through them all. I'll share my screen here. There you go. So we got Odds Logic, the live odds page that we're using moving forward. We also have like the injuries and stuff on this. And you can set it up any way that you want, all the casinos or the books that you want available. Not just these, but there's a whole bunch available in the settings. So if you guys want to try this out, there's a link in the description. Make sure you guys check that out. Let's go to the first game on the board. Phoenix and Brooklyn. Phoenix open up at minus 10.5. Still minus 10.5 across the board. The total 220.5 at open. We're seeing 219 at Pinnacle, 219.5 at DraftKings and FanDuel, Caesars. So it looks like it's going down a bit. From an injury perspective, we'll go to Phoenix first. Phoenix, we got Nurk is already ruled out, and then we got Bradley Beal, who is questionable. If you go to the Brooklyn side, Simmons questionable to play. Cam Thomas still out. Watford out. Bogdanovich out. If we look from a situational standpoint, fatigue spot here for the Nets. Second of a back-to-back. Third game in 4 nights. Fourth and 6. Suns double-digit in-season revenge against the Nets. That's crazy. And then rest advantage here for the Suns. Obviously, Ski, you agree with this line movement towards the under, or what are you thinking about the Sun side, or even fading the fatigue spot here on the Nets?
Yeah, I don't know how much I trust defense for the Suns, really, but
Mm,
the offense for the Nets is kind of where I think, it might not matter as much, especially if you get guys sitting on a second of a back to back.
mhm.
They already are just lacking offensively right now and injured, etc. So I can understand an under from that regard. But Suns, I mean, that double digit in season revenge, they got the rest advantage. They're off of a loss also.
Mhm.
I think you should get a full effort, good effort from the Suns. See them as a double digit road favorite after losing. I just kind of feel like that stands out a little bit. So Suns, I know it hasn't moved much right now. It did open 10.5. I saw it drop to 9.5 and then come right back up.
Mhm.
So I would probably go Suns here. I think that's what I like.
It makes sense to me. You talked about so both teams kind of slow in pace the last 10 games. Both defenses struggling, but look at that gap offensively for the Suns versus the Nets here. 11th in offensive rating versus 29th in the last 10 games. One thing I wanted to bring up: Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas not being on the court. Um, 6 and 19 straight up, 9 and 16 ATS. When he's on the court, it's a totally different look from the net side. When he's on the court, 14-4-1 ATS. So that's a huge gap that they're missing offense, especially on the offensive side of the ball with Cam Thomas. I think as long as he's not on the court, I gotta look to fade the Nets for the most part. Am I gonna bet it? Not 100% sure, but I could only look towards the Sun side as well. All right, let's go to the Pistons and the Hawks. Pistons open up at. Let me get these alerts out the way. Atlanta opened up at -2.5 at home. Still 2.5 across the board. See FanDuel at -3. The total 236.5 down to 236 at Pinnacle. DraftKings have it at 236. FanDuel down to 235.5. So that one's moving towards the under. From an injury perspective, we'll go to Detroit. Jaden Ivey is the only one listed here as out. If we look on the Atlanta side, Zachary Risachet is out. Jalen Johnson, questionable. Nance out. From a situational standpoint, let down here on the Pistons side, they did beat Houston as 7.5-point dogs, road dogs. They're on the road again here. First game of back-to-back for the Hawks side. In-season revenge for them. First game of back-to-back. They have Toronto on deck tomorrow. Home to home, though, so they don't have to travel. What's your thoughts on this one?
I don't love the spot for Atlanta. I mean, they've been traveling like every damn game, it feels like. And they play tomorrow. Between that and I feel like they've kind of been a little bit banged up lately, it makes me hesitant to play them. But yeah, it's tough. It's really, really tough. I want to say Atlanta at home, but maybe this is one of those situations where I just go and play props again. I don't trust Atlanta's defense, and just seeing the match. I mean, I know there's Dyson Daniels over there too. Maybe he's getting a lot of attention as far as Cade goes, but Cade versus Atlanta defense, or if he gets Trae Young matched up on him, I could see him going crazy. Might just play Cade in this one. I guess if I have to give a lean for the game, I'll lean Pistons.
Lean Pistons. No thought on the total. I think that all right. So if you look at this last game that they played, this is obviously in November, quite a bit ago, but they went over by 14 points. I just pulled up one thing that because you know how you just mentioned. I didn't even see this until you mentioned it, but they were on the road a ton. 9 of their last 10 games was on the road. When they go from road to home, 9-2 to the over, it seems like they want to get, obviously they want to come home and start off, strong with their homestand. But do you think an over type game would be the way to go here too? I mean, it's kind of weird because so the Hawks first in pace last 10 games, 10th for the Pistons, so they are playing a fast pace. Pistons defense is pretty solid, but I mean, from a pace perspective, Hawks first, and that trend of them coming home off that first, off the road. Any thoughts on the over there?
Yeah, I guess the last more recent games, Hawks have been playing just a tad bit slower. I don't like the last 5 game stats. I'll tell you that. Both top 10 defensive rated teams, and Hawks kind of middle of the pack as far as pace. But other than that, just the way that I view these teams in general, I could absolutely see it being an up and down game. And it's over or nothing.
All right, let's go to Minnesota and Dallas. All right, so the Wolves open up at -1.5 on the road here. Seeing 2s at circa 2.5 at BetMGM. That's the only one at 2.5. Most of them are at -2. Dallas, the total 218.5 down to 217 at most books. BetMGM's at 217.5. From an injury standpoint, let's go to Minnesota. Minnesota, DiVincenzo, and then we go to Dallas. Dallas got a laundry list here. Dang. Luka out, Exum, Hardy, Powell out. Questionables is Thompson, Lively, and Grimes. Man, that's a ton of stuff. All right, so situational, sort of a fatigue spot here, 4th and 6. First a game of back-to-back, though, for Dallas. And they got OKC on deck in OKC tomorrow. Bounce back spot, though. They did lose to Charlotte as 4-point favorites. And then in-season revenge here for the Mavs as well. Man, this one's interesting. A potential look ahead to OKC, but they do want to get a bounce back too. Those are one of those crazy situational spots. But what do you think about this one?
Yeah, this is probably one of the tougher games for me. I don't really have much here. Um, I'll just say I think Random might be worth a shot to go back to for his rebounds and assists. But other than that, it's hard for me to pick a side in this game. I don't want to just say anything.
Yeah, got you. That makes sense to me. Just real quick off the ATS numbers. Last 10 games, 2-8 ATS for the Mavs. First game of back-to-back, 0-2. And they've been also an under team in the last 10 games, 7-3 to the under, 4-1 to the under as home dogs, and 2-0 to the under on the back-to-back. So it seems like Mavs are playing a slower pace and they're struggling offensively here, 25th in offensive rating. So probably from a trend perspective, we'll lean in that direction, especially with the Wolves playing a slower pace at 24th. All right, let's move on to the Cavs and the Rockets here. I think there's some injuries in this one. Cavs Rockets. Cavs open up at -3, down to -1.5 at Circa and BetMGM. Still -2 at Pinnacle. You can get -2 at DraftKings as well. Bet online still 2.5. Total down to 231. Sorry, open up at 233, down to 231 at most books. Actually, 231.5 at most books. But Pinnacle down to 230. So they steam down a lot. All right, so let's look at the injuries. Cleveland, Okoro out. Evan Mobley still out again as well. Levert is questionable. And if we look at the Rockets, Adams questionable. Jabari Smith Jr. still out. If we look at situational notes, nothing on the Cavs side. Coming off a loss as a bounce back spot here for the Rockets. They did lose by double digits to Detroit a couple nights ago. Think the Rockets bounce back here, or do you think the Cavs continue to kind of dominate the league? Man, they've been, man, it's crazy to see them play the way that they have been. But what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, and surprisingly, they've been really good against the spread without Evan Mobley too. I want to say
Ew.
something like 6-2, something like that. Um, them being here on the road versus Houston. It takes a lot for me to bet against Houston at home,
Mm-hmm.
especially them coming off of a loss. I just kind of feel like it's a situation where they'll be really focused, and I know they've been good first half at home as well. Um, I'm just unsure. Maybe it's a situation you get in and get out with the Rockets. Just expect them to throw the first punch. It is hard to bet against the Cavaliers, so I guess lean Rockets first half, lean Rockets full game. I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
the total coming down, I think that's pretty interesting. I think both teams are capable of playing good defense, and although Cavaliers kind of go over a lot, I think this is a situation where Rockets can kind of hold them down a little bit. So,
Mm-hmm.
market is pushing it down. I think I would agree with that. And market also going towards Houston. I agree with that too.
Do you think this is I mean, so looking at last 10 days, offensive rating for both teams, top five for both, right? Number one for Cavs, top five for the Rockets. Do you think this is one of those like playoff atmosphere type games? I know they're non-conference and stuff like that, but I feel like these are two teams really thinking that they can make it to the finals. Any type of thoughts on that, or um,
I think the Rockets will play that way, but I'm not sure the Cavaliers look at it like that. I
got
think,
you?
I don't think the Rockets have the Cavaliers' attention. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. That's kind of why I asked that question because it does seem like because of how the Cavs have been playing, it seems like they're just kind of going through the motions, while the Rockets are still trying to make a name for themselves just because they're young. Um, Yeah, I agree with that. I think Rockets first half definitely seems like the look. I probably would stay away from the full game, especially with the number where it's at right now. All right, let's go to Milwaukee and New Orleans. Milwaukee opened up at -8.5. This is -7 at Circa, -6.5 at Pinnacle and BetMGM. So down to -6.5 at most books actually. Total 230.5 at Open. This has steamed up 233.5 at Circa, 234 at Pinnacle. If you like the over, still can get a 232.5 at Bet Online. Injuries, we'll go to Milwaukee first. Just AJ Green. Oh, that's That's wait. Oh yeah, that's right. Just AJ Green. And we go to New Orleans. We have Zion questionable. He's Misi questionable. Jones out and Ingram out. From a situational standpoint, Pelicans coming off of that OT game against Utah. Bucks, they are the more rested team. 2 days of rest or more. First game of back to back though. They do have Miami on deck, and they have to travel. So New Orleans to Miami. Um, what are your thoughts on this one? I know we typically don't like backing teams coming off an OT game, but um, yeah, Milwaukee has been playing really well. I think last 4 games, huge margin there on the straight up, double digit wins, 4 straight games. Seems like their offense is clicking right now.
Yeah, I think just like that. The Pelicans, I don't like that they're coming off an overtime game. They haven't had a lot of time to rest. In that overtime game, they had to come back from down 20
I
to tie it up
know.
and to win.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a lot of energy expended. And for the Bucks, they're the more rested team. Like you said, they've been playing good lately. They've had 3 straight wins, 4 straight wins, all by double digits. I mean, why are we not running to the window and backing the Bucks? That's kind of how I feel right now. The line going down from 8.5 to 6.5 is.
that's
I mean,
kind of
I'm
wild,
kind.
right?
Are they expecting
It kind of
Giannis
doesn't
not
make
to
any
play?
sense.
Like, he's probable right now. Why is the line going down? Or is it just they expect all these question marks for the Pelicans to play? Um, as long as you
Even if
have
they
Giannis out
do,
there, I,
even if
I
they
don't
do
really
that,
care.
spot is not that great, right? I mean, that's kind of wild. So even if Zion plays, is that a point and a half movement? No, right? Zion's not a point and a half, is he?
Yeah, it could be. I
He
mean,
could
it's
be.
it's Zion and Murray. It's a couple people.
All right. All right. So I looked
And
at Pelicans.
Pelicans
You
have
mentioned
been playing good lately. I can't lie.
they have been. I mean, I feel like they have been, especially as they got a little bit healthier. Um, but the spot is not that great. So I looked at Pelicans off of OT game because you mentioned that they did only have one other OT game. They were rested too. They had 3 days of rest. This one they only got 1 day of rest. They lost by 17 as 7 point dogs. Same situation, home dog, 7 points. They lost by 17. They went over by a ton. Gave up a ton of points to the Rockets. Um, maybe what about we just talked about the Bucks offense really clicking right now. Team total over on the Bucks side, or just the side, just take the side.
Well, team total, I'm looking at it, 233.5. I mean, I could understand it. I think the situation that they're in for the Pelicans, I
Hmm.
don't think they'll have a lot of energy on the defensive end. I can see a lot of second chance points for the Bucks as well. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all for team total for the Bucks. I think Bucks anyway. You want to
Hmm.
bet them is a good way.
Yeah, I agree with you there. All right, so it would be Bucks or Bucks team total over for me. All right, let's go on to the Hornets and the Grizzlies here. Grizzlies open up at minus 11 and a half, double digit favorites here at home, up to minus 12 and a half at Circa, still at 12 at Pinnacle, mostly minus 12 at most books, but Circa at 12 and a half. Total open up at 236 and a half. This is steamed up. Um, See some 239 and a halves over here, Bet Online, FanDuel, Caesars. But these sharper books here, 240 and a half at Circa, 240 at Pinnacle. Let's go to the injuries. Charlotte, Miller out, Trey Mann out, Grant Williams obviously out for the season. We'll go to the Grizzlies. Smart, Gigi Jackson, and Vince Williams still out. From a situational standpoint, nothing on the Grizzlies side, but Hornets, they are in a letdown spot here. They did come off a win as home dogs to the Mavericks. Double digit favorites here for the Grizzlies. They have been playing pretty well last 3 games, especially off right here against the Spurs. They played back to back against the Spurs, kind of dominated that matchup. Got the win against Minnesota. Do you think they keep uh, their their momentum going here against the Hornets?
Um, well, I'd rather back the Grizzlies than the Hornets. Maybe even more so, just Back to over. I think the
Mm,
Grizzlies have been playing with really good pace. They have no problem scoring the basketball, and the defense, if anything, has been kind of middle of the pack, I guess you could say. So I think they can pace up the Hornets as long as the Hornets are healthy, have Lamelo in there, they'll be fine playing with pace too. I agree with the total moving up here. Um, and I guess I agree with Memphis. Also, I feel like I wish I had the numbers right here to back it up, but I do feel like the Grizzlies score a lot, like in the first quarter as well.
mhm.
So any kind of over you're looking at in this game, I think you're headed in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean Grizzlies' first quarter has been a thing for a long time. It seems like, or like at least a few years. Just checking out some numbers here on the Hornet side with Lamelo in surprisingly 16 and 12 to the under. I can't. I mean, we can dive into it a little bit more, but I don't really just at that base level. It doesn't seem like this situation matches, especially with the Grizzlies and their pace of play and their offensive efficiency. Hornets defense has been pretty solid last 10 games, fifth in defensive rating. If you look at who they played, so they got Chicago, Utah, Phoenix, Phoenix twice. It's pretty interesting that their defensive rating is that good. Might just be the pace of play. So fifth, that's the reason why a lot of points are they're giving up a ton of points in some of these games. Seems like man, that's interesting. I'll probably pass on this one altogether. This one kind of has a lot of things kind of crossing each other off for me. Uh, three games left. All right, 3 games left. Let's go to Utah. Sorry, Oklahoma City. Utah and Oklahoma City. OKC minus 17 and a half at open, still across the board minus 17 and a half. Total 220 and a half at open. This has steamed up a ton. 225s, 225 and a halves available as well. We go for injuries. We'll go to Utah first. So Utah, Cody Williams out, Markkinen and Sexton and Collins questionable, Clarkson still out. So those questionables, I feel like these guys have been missing quite a bit, so they potentially could come back. Go to OKC. Williams questionable. The good Jalen Williams questionable. Hartenstein and Holmgren still out. Um, Situational notes. Rest advantage here on the Thunder side, 2 or more days of rest. First game of back-to-back, though, they do have Dallas, probably a more important game to them to think about. Double-digit in-season revenge for the Jazz. Also coming off an OT game, though. We just talked about that game with the Pelicans. So coming off an OT game, I mean, it's a big number here, 17 and a half. But, I mean, I don't know. I think you got to probably wait and to see all the status of those three players on the Utah side, because that should be able to move the line, right? Cumulatively, if they're all in, they should move the line. What's your thoughts on this one?
If you could check OKC as double digit favorites, I'm really just looking to see how much they score. But the situationally, with the Thunder with the rest advantage, and the Jazz coming off of that overtime game, I think it's absolutely Thunder. But when you say that first game of back to back with the Mavs on deck, like
Mhm.
I don't think they care as much because there will be no Luca, but I still think they're looking more at the Mavericks than they are the Jazz. So it could come
100%.
out in the defense lacking to start the game, could have to catch up, et cetera, et cetera. And
Yeah.
also, I think that without the two bigs, Hardenstein and Holmgren, they have to play a little bit faster. They also have to do some small ball. So I guess maybe I want to look at that OKC as double digit favorites and also OKC without Hardenstein. I feel like we should get more pace, more points, maybe an
Mhm.
OKC team total, something like that.
Yeah, so that double digit line. So we look up Thunder, double digit favorites here. 14 and 0 straight up, 11 and 3 ATS. They have covered the last 4 in a row, including 16 and a half, 15 and a half. They've covered a 17 and a half earlier this season against the Wizards. So, and these big numbers, they're still covering them. Let's put it in order here.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
so
pretty
man,
crazy.
that's crazy, dude. Even this 13 and a half, they missed it by a bucket. They won by 12. This one won by 12. They lost by the hook. This one is a 12.5. They lost by a bucket. Sorry, 2.5 points. They were on the second leg of back-to-back games. Man, these double-digit lines, they just dominate. I think it's because of their depth, right? Is their depth that even when they come to the bench, those guys can put buckets up too. And the Jazz, even if those guys come back, they could probably still be a little bit fatigued, right? Man, yeah, I think it's still Thunder or nothing, even at this huge number and the look ahead.
Can you check without Hardenstein?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, fuck it. Oh my god, I have to spell his name and shit. All right, so hold on, let me see if I can copy this.
Isaiah, I got you with the
All right,
with the spelling.
Isaiah
HARTENSTEIN.
Is that right? Let's see if that's right. All right. So 13-5 straight up, 11-7 ATS, 9-9 on the total. If we look at the last few games here, last three, 2-1 to the over. Majority, both of those games went over because of their offense. They scored 134 against Cavs. They scored 127 against the Nets. They struggled here against the Mavs, but they were in a letdown spot. This was the second game of back-to-back, and they just beat the Cavs, which was a bigger game for them. So I could see why this one went under. They didn't really care for it, probably. Just a huge letdown spot, pretty much. But yeah, 134 against them, 127 there. So offensive-wise, in this most recent stint of Hartenstein missing, it does seem like they still can put up points. Are you looking at a team total over or just the spread?
Yeah, I was thinking about team total over. It is high though. It's 121.5. So
shoot, they hit 134 and 127 there, and they're gonna be rested coming into this one. 2 days of rest. Potential look ahead. Let's how about this? Let's look at them on the first leg of back-to-back games. 6-2 straight up, 4-4 ATS, 5-3 to the under, and then line less than or equal to -10. So double-digit favorite in this spot. So that gives me a little bit of pause, but for the most part, they're still there, dude. From an ATS perspective, maybe not the total ATS perspective though. They missed this one by less than a bucket.
Thunder pass for sure.
Yeah. Under a pass. Okay. I still think Thunder ATS, even at 17.5, might be the side too. All right, let's go on to the next game here. 2 more games left. Warriors and the Kings. So we'll go Kings here, -8 at open, down to 6.5 at BetMGM, 7.5. Pinnacle -7 here at Circa. So still across the board, pretty pretty different. So if you want to shop, obviously this is one of those games that you'll need to shop. 6.5 is probably the best number if you like the King side. All right, so then the total 227 at open, 228.5, pretty much across the board except for Pinnacle and FanDuel at 228. Injuries. We'll go to Golden State side first. Draymond Green's out, Pod's out, Kuminga out, and we'll go to Sacramento and see what they got here. Seems like a clean slate here on the injury report. Situational notes: in-season revenge, double-digit in-season revenge for the Warriors. First game of back-to-back. They do have Chicago and they got their travel, so but it's obviously in-state, sack to Golden State. Kings, they have the rest advantage, 2 or more days of rest. First game of back-to-back, though, they do have Denver. They also have to travel from Sacramento to Denver. Two teams on the first leg of back-to-back games. Where you want to go with this one?
Yeah, also 2 teams that are kind of going opposite directions. Since Kuminga went down, Warriors have just been, what do I say? Nice way to say it. They haven't been good. they've been very much not good. I don't know. Try to be nice without saying too many bad words on here. I don't like anything I've seen from the Warriors, is what I'm trying to say. For the King side, Ever since they fired Mike Brown, they've been playing really good for Doug Christie. I know they've won, I think, 7 of their last 8 games. So, especially them being at home and healthy, it's very hard to go against the Kings. So, like I said, just two teams going opposite directions. I, I don't see why the line is going down. I
Mhm.
think the Kings can win this game by double digits.
Man, that's a good point. I didn't even really notice how bad that they've been without Kaminga. So Kaminga, without Kaminga, 3-7 straight up, 2-8 ATS, 6-4 to the under. If you look at their team total, they've only gone over their team total twice in this spot, and one of them was because I mean, probably wasn't because it, but one of the reasons it could have been was because the Nets were on the second leg of back-to-back games, probably had no legs to play defense, but they did, and they actually ended up losing that one too outright. Um, and if you go to the King side, right there, this is where it happened, right? They started winning, they started covering for Doug Christie. Man, they even covered the 17 and a half here against the Wizards. So they are definitely clicking, especially on the offensive side of the ball. It would definitely be Kings or nothing for me as well. Let's see. Yeah, both. Damn, -8. So why do you think it's going down? It seems like their injury report is clean. Six and a
Mm,
half. That's pretty interesting to me, dude. I don't understand. What are your thoughts? But like, why is it going that way?
why? I mean, the Kings. Maybe they're thinking the Kings look ahead to Denver. Um, Other than that, I mean, Kings have the rest advantage. The one thing I guess I think of is I don't necessarily view the Kings as a team like I'm really running to the window to lay 8 with. Out of
Yeah.
this streak of games, they haven't been 8 point favorites. So maybe it's just people thinking that way. Like, okay, we've gone a little bit too high now. It's time
Uh-huh.
to buy back on the other side.
I'm probably gonna watch this one and see what happens. But the Kings, I definitely agree with you as far as like Kings being the side here. Um, all right, last game on the board: Boston Celtics and the Clippers. I think I saw injury report on this one. There's a lot of stuff going on here. So the Celtics opened up at -6. It steamed up to -10. You can still get a 9.5 at BetMGM and DraftKings. I'm not sure if this is true, but Caesars shows -6. I'm not 100% sure if that's true or not. Total 219.5. This has come down to 217 at most books that have a total available. 217.5 at BetMGM. We look at an injury report. We'll go to Boston. Horford questionable and Drew Holiday questionable. If you go to the Clippers side, Zubac is out. Kawhi out. Harden is questionable. Obviously, PJ Tucker's still out. I mean, do you think they're punting this game? Do you think Harden ends up not playing this one too? Let's go to situation stuff first, real quick. Sorry. Rest advantage for the Celtics side. First game of back to back, they have the Lakers on deck. Skee, I don't know if you remember this one, but back to back Lakers with no rest. You know what to play tomorrow, I think. I'm hoping you know what to play tomorrow.
Yeah,
And
is
that
it is this back to back? Really?
so like Clippers today, Lakers tomorrow for Boston.
Yeah. I know what to play
You know
tomorrow for
you
sure.
know what it is, yeah.
On against heavy spread tomorrow. We gotta play.
Yeah, we already know what we're playing tomorrow. Fourth game of 6 nights for the Celtics as well. Clippers in season revenge, double digit in season revenge, coming off a loss, bounce back spot here. They did lose to Chicago. Second game of back to back. Sorry, what? Second game of back to back. First game of back to back. They have Washington tomorrow. What are your thoughts on this one here?
So first off, Caesars has the game locked right now. There's no spread up, so
Oh,
that's
okay,
probably the last number that they had available before they locked it.
got
Um,
you. Okay,
so that's what we're looking at there. Um, I know Horford, he doesn't usually play back to back, so he'll either sit this game or the next game. And if he does sit, I'd have to take a look at Tatum rebounds. That's been a thing for me. But if he does play, or regardless, I do feel like to answer your question, the Clippers are kind of punting. No Zubac, no Kawhi, and all
Mhm.
these other guys questionables. It's I don't want to be putting my money on there against Boston. I know Boston just came off of a pretty nice win, but before that they lost. So I don't think they're going to take their foot off the gas. I think they'll play another good game, and I think this one is a double-digit game by halftime. So I would be looking towards Boston, maybe maybe Boston first half even. No way that I'm looking towards the Clippers. And
Yeah.
oh, you know what? Maybe the total. I mean, it is going down from 219 and a half to 217. Clippers will probably struggle to score. I mean, all these question marks and already missing a few guys. Boston can definitely lock them down defensively.
All right. So, real quick. So, Michael Leon, if you want to know what the play is for that Clippers, sorry, that Boston and Lakers game, you're gonna have to tune in, bro, for the next one. We'll talk about it. I promise you, we'll talk about it. Um, but yeah, it's been a trend that we've been using for the last few seasons, and it's been
Party guy.
pretty profitable. Yeah, party guy. Um, so I want to one thing that I wanted to look at because Zubac has been playing kind of crazy lately. How do you spell his name? I can't even remember how to spell his name either. I wanted to see what they look like without him. So Ivica. I always say Ibaka for some reason. Equals 0. Yeah, only one game. All right, so I guess you just missed that one against the Bulls. They did lose and failed to cover that one. Did stay under. Man, he's been a huge part of this offense that they've had going recently. Hella double doubles, like I think like nearly 2020 game. That's why I wanted to see what his impact was. But under to me seems like the way to go. Maybe even a Clippers team total under.
I
Um,
like the Clippers team total under.
yeah, that's kind of like where I'm leaning here. Clippers team total under. They did struggle. What's weird to me is that they lost by 32 points and they don't care to get that back. But it's what it is. So I would probably lean towards the Clippers team total under here in this one. All right, so that's the end. We went through 9 games. Um, remove this real quick. All right, so we went through 9 games. Um, real quick, moving to we don't have like a promo code or anything going on, but if you guys want to see our work or purchase any of our plays, head over to wagertalk.com. Both myself and Skee over there. Coming off a pretty good day today. Yesterday was pretty solid as well for myself. And then, I think, like I said, if you want to purchase a bigger, like longer term package, because you already know playoff Skee and the second half Skee, all that new like Skee goes crazy in the NBA. And I'm touching Skee's not doing the unrivaled, but I'm doing unrivaled, and I've been going off on unrivaled. So that's been pretty profitable for myself. I think we both touched college basketball as well. Um, like today, he went 1-0. I went 2-0 in college basketball. So a lot of things going well right now. If you guys want to rock with us, wagertalk.com. You can see those quick links: wt.buzz backslash HP, wt.buzz backslash RC. Um, with that said, what do you want to leave for the viewers here, Ski? As far as like leans, I know we didn't bet nothing yet, so.
Well, first of all, we appreciate everybody tuning in with us late at night. We got my guy Wham Bam in here. First off, reminding everybody to hit the like button. Some more of the usual suspects in here: B Daddy, B Man,
Mhm.
Eddie Cash, Mark A, my guy Guillermo Zertucci. Shout out to you. Hope all is well with you, bro. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Casey in the building. Just this is a late night show, so people are staying up late, taking their time to come rock with us. I want to make sure you guys know we appreciate you. Plays I'm looking at, plays I'm liking. I do have a little bit of a list here, but I'll try to see which ones I feel a little bit stronger about. And looking down the list here, I like what we said about that Phoenix game. It's really more so a fade of Brooklyn too, and just a spot situation. I think that Phoenix can win that game by 11 plus. Bucks. It might not be a rush to get to the window, but I think they're the right side. And also,
Mhm.
we agree that the Bucks should be able to score what they want. So total going up, side going down. Um, either Bucks or Bucks team total over. So those are the main two games that I'm looking at right now.
Got you. I think one of the ones I like all the ones that you mentioned. I think I don't think you mentioned the Kings one. I do want to wait a little bit and see what happens there because it's interesting to me that the line is going down towards the Golden State. Um, but I think Kings are the right side on that one. I do think that also the potential Clippers team total under. I'm just scared that we might get a bad number just because it's already moving. And like you said, some of the books are locked. Um, I think that's it that you did not mention that I think that I would probably lean towards. Did you say OKC?
OKC is on my list. I mean, if you want me to read my
Yeah.
whole list,
No, you don't
Sac
have
is on there.
to.
OKC is on there. Yeah.
Yeah. OKC, I think, is another one that I would probably add to the list. All right. With that said, guys, definitely appreciate you, like what Skee said, for popping in, especially late night here. We did go through 9 games on the slate. If you guys appreciate that, and all the info that we give out, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. It does help our show continue to grow. And also leave a comment, or what are it's still new. The show is still new. I think we don't even have 10 shows yet left. So through the season. So we're still trying to make it better. If you guys have any any thoughts on what we can do to do it better or whatever, just leave us a comment. We'll try to respond. All right, guys. With that said, whether you fade or follow, it is on you to make that call. Good luck with all your action. Until next time. Peace.